Namaste. Namaste and welcome to this practice of Ujjayi or Ujjayi breathing. My Sanskrit pronunciation is never very good, so if you have heard it pronounced differently, then that is fine by me. Okay, so this is one of the breath techniques that we can use to warm the body. Ujjayi is warming in general, but it's also calming. So it's warming, but not in a really overwhelming way. And it helps us to draw on our strength and determination and will in a yoga class. So, for example, if you're holding a posture that is really quite challenging, you might develop a Ujjayi breath to help you to hold it, keeping the body nice and relaxed and keeping a calmness as well. And you can also use it in vigorous practice, like in sun salutation or vinyasa practice. It's often used in Ashtanga yoga, and it's a breath that we naturally find ourselves doing at times when we're feeling challenged. So it's just a yoga version of helping us to draw on that strength at other times as well. So let's begin just by finding a comfortable position. So usually I wouldn't recommend doing too much of it lying down, but if you feel that lying down is your only way to practice today, then go ahead. Take a chair if you need to. I'm sitting on a bolster and I'm supported under my knees. I've got my cozy blanket on. So wrap yourself up and sit any way that is comfortable for you. Kneeling as well is good. We simply want to find a gentle length in the back of the body so that we feel like we have space to breathe in the front of the body. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable and close your eyes or gaze gently downward if you prefer. But just a couple of noticing breaths. Noticing how you're feeling, both physically in your body and emotionally as well. Noticing how your breath is, the rate, the rhythm, the sensation of the breath in the body. Ujjayi is directly translated as victorious breath, the breath of the victor. So in this breath, we make a soft sound in the throat, and that sound is created by a partial closure of the glottis, the flap of skin that stops things we swallow going into our lungs. So this is something we naturally do when we snore, or you often hear babies sort of making this soft, snuffly sound as they breathe. So we want that sound with the breath. And often the easiest way to learn to do that is to practice with the mouth open to begin with. So usually in yoga, we practice with the mouth closed. But just for the next few rounds, as you exhale, creating a whispered ah sound, a bit like this. Let's do a few of those together. Really soft, very deep in the throat. Maybe one more. Just relaxing for a few moments. So that sound is long and steady. And what we're going to do is practice it one more time with the mouth open and then close the mouth and make the same sound, but with the mouth closed, breathing out through the nose. Okay, so sitting tall, deep breath in, one out through the mouth, Then closing the mouth, breathing in, same thing again. One more. And then allowing your breath to fall in its natural rhythm. Just blinking your eyes open if they've been closed. So what we're aiming to do is make the sound come from the throat, not from the nose. So it's very different from the sound that would come from the nose, this sound that comes from the throat. And some people find that they make a little tone, sometimes going, that's okay. So if it helps you to hum a little bit, then that's all right to begin with. And what we can do is practice this for a few rounds, just on exhalation, and see if we can feel that sense of lengthening the exhalation. So let's do it together a few times. And if you need to start with your mouth and then close the mouth, that's okay. And if you think about that sound that you hear in a seashell, like the soft sound of waves on the ocean, that's kind of that soft snoring, soft susurration type of sound is what we're aiming for. And it is soft, it's not really, really forceful. Let's do a few more together, just exhaling. At the end of your next exhalation, just opening your eyes again if they've been closed. So what happens is that slightly longer, slower exhalation is the calming part of the breath. It really allows us to tap into that relaxation response in the body, similar to extending our breath in other ways, exhaled part of the breath in other ways. But Ujjayi is practiced on inhalation as well as exhalation for most people. So if you've managed to nail it with the exhalation, you can start inhaling this way as well. And again, we can take a few breaths using our mouths first, open, and then switch to breathing through the nose. Let's do it together. We'll start on an exhalation, and then we want that ah, whispered ah sound or ha sound to be mimicked on inhalation as well. Deep breath in. And now as you inhale. And now through a closed mouth as you exhale. And as you inhale. So after a few rounds, you can maybe lose yourself in the sound of that breath moving in and out of the body, and checking that you feel the sound is coming from quite low down, almost where your neck reaches your chest. So it's coming from the air moving across your voice box rather than air moving through the nostrils themselves. And if it takes a bit of practice, don't be disheartened, because of course all things take practice. And particularly with the breath, we want to move gently. We want to not push or force anything to happen. Just keep moving gently. And if any of these earlier practices feel easier for you for now, then stick with the earlier practices of breathing out through the mouth, or breathing only Ujjayi through exhalation. But if you're ready to practice for a little bit longer, then join me in re-engaging that length in your body. Maybe using chin mudra, first fingers and thumbs together, other fingers long. Resting palms up or down, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Just whenever you're ready, doing any variation on the side of the ocean head, or that soft snoring, that soft susurration. At the end of your next exhalation, allowing your breath to fall into its natural rhythm and fall into quietness, maybe swallowing to lubricate your throat. Taking a moment to observe the effect of your practice. Feel how your body is feeling. Notice your emotions as well. Notice the breath. Perhaps it's become more passive, more subtle. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So as you become more practiced, Ujjayi becomes more subtle. It's not as loud. If you have been in a yoga class and you've noticed someone sort of snorting on the mat next to you, that's someone being very forceful with their Ujjayi. And Ujjayi is, it can be forceful, but you can use it when you need it. You can draw on it, you can give it power. But in practice and with practice, it becomes much more subtle, much quieter, much more contained, much more of a personal experience. Perhaps only the person really closest to you would be able to hear the softness of your Ujjayi with practice. And it's really important to let it go at the end of your practice. So Ujjayi is not suitable for final relaxation. You should hopefully be able to relax your throat and let your breath come to quietness at the end of practice. Because if you practice it all of the time, you will exacerbate the throat chakra and you'll end up giving yourself a sore throat. So a little is good when it's needed, particularly fantastic. But remember to relax and let it go and return to your spontaneous, subtle, soft, natural breath as well. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope you find it useful. Please feel free to use it in your practice, especially when directed by your yoga teacher. And I'll see you again for another breath soon. Namaste.